This week is Mental Health Awareness Week, and rarely has that meant so much to so many people as right now. And I want to talk about some of our practices that we employ to have control over our mental health. And that has to talk about our physical practices as well, because you cannot separate the mind from the body. Now, I've been critical of some aspects of yoga, but I'm going to start by talking about one of their core principles. The breath is king of the brain, and nerves are king of the breath. What does that mean? We know if we take our 10 inhales and controlled exhales, we'll feel a quietening of the mind, we'll feel reduced tension in our muscles, perhaps from our shoulders, perhaps from our gut, and we generally feel a sense of ease. However, when we relinquish conscious influence over our breathing, it is our nervous system that dictates that pattern. Now, your nervous system is either in a state of stress or it's in a state of relaxation. Most of us are stuck to some degree in that state of stress. Now, what this means is we're going to have excessive muscular tension. We'll wear this on our posture. This will impact upon our ability to fully inhale, which will impact upon the messaging that our brain receives. If we can't get adequate oxygen delivery, if we cannot tolerate the CO2 buildup in our system, then our brain will think that we are stressed. And that is exactly how you will feel. What we know is that most people in our culture, not just people who are overweight, not just asthmatics, but most of us excessively breathe. And a lot of this is because we are in this state of fight or flight in a sympathetic nervous system condition. Yoga does a wonderful job of incorporating the breathing with the movement practice, and that's why so many people depend upon it for their mental health. However, where we can do better is with the movement choices itself. So if you don't stimulate the muscles appropriately, you don't have proper influence over the nervous system, over the breathing, and over the brain. Muscles require tension to retain positions. You need that association with tension to learn and to make long-term changes. If your movement is passive and without tension, the movements will not be retained and you will not make long-term changes. And this is why so many yogis are still in pain, still feel tight, and still feel anxious. A body without tension will just compress and collapse in on itself. The goal should not be to completely remove tension, but to simply put it in the appropriate places. Proper natural movement should allow the tension to come into appropriate places like your core and like your glutes, and that will allow the inappropriate places to relax. In that way, we're going to allow proper breathing mechanics and better mindfulness practice. So in my natural yoga class, we will have mobility flows that take muscles through a full range of motion with appropriate tension. And we will take out some of the more harmful aspects of some of the positions in yoga, so things like excessive back bending. Taking your body beyond the natural native range of motion is never a good thing, and especially when it comes to the spine. And this is why in some really extreme cases, you've got reports of people suffering from strokes and paralysis and even death from excessive spinal extension, because you're just compressing all of the tissues that run up through that spinal column, and as we see, that can have disastrous effects. So we take out some of the movements that can be detrimental to the human body, and we bring in some of the movements that yoga maybe neglects, that are also natural movements for the human body. And in that way, we'll get a cleaner stimulus on the muscle, and hopefully a better result long-term for your mental health as well.